All right, we're live. What's up, everybody? This is Jason Trevino from GameOctane.com. Along with me, we have some buddies on the other screen. There's actually two of them, which a lot of us aren't used to seeing. We've got the good old Kurt Aroni. Say hi, Kurt. What's up?
Yay! What's up, guys?
And we do have a special guest this week. Logan, go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of explain where you've been and where you're from.
Sure. So I'm Logan. I'm from Guys Playing Games. We're a product of Ninth Row Media out here in California. We do a lot of Let's Plays, game sort of stuff. We do a lot of board game related stuff. We hit microphones. You name it, we do it. We're primarily on YouTube, and we just like to. The name is self-explanatory. It's the dumbest name in the world, but Guys Playing Games. That's exactly what we are and who we are.
But it describes it so well.
I think when we one of us was studying, how do you get really popular on YouTube,
Mhm.
and one of those shortcuts was be very descriptive of what you do in your name or something like that. Be catchy, and for some reason I thought that was a good idea, so we stuck with it. And
It works.
We got some folks out there.
That's good.
No, we're all about games and really just having fun.
That's perfect. That's basically what we do, but we haven't touched the board game world in a while. Matt did go to Gen Con. He got invited to go as press through us, and he had a blast. He actually got a lot of cool stuff, and he had a couple articles out, I think, on our website about it. But yeah, we'll dive into that. For everyone that's watching it on YouTube, I'll have the link to his channel on our YouTube so you guys can check him out as well. Jumping right into it, because we want to keep this under an hour. New releases for the week. We have Yakuza Kiwami, the PS4 that came out 8/29. That is the redo, the remake of the Yakuza name. Mario plus Rabbids.
Talk about that last week.
Matt did bring it up. He was hyped on it, but it actually came out this week. So I'm bringing it up again. I'm bringing it up again, jerk.
Just checking, yeah.
Thanks for interrupting. I'm just kidding. Mario plus Rabbids for the Switch. That one's been doing very well lately. The reviews from like websites and stuff seem to be favorable towards it, but it looks like a lot of streamers and stuff are having a blast with it and they're really enjoying like the different type of Mario things. We'll dive into that a little later as well. A big one for us, last day of June, came out today. PS4 and PC. The reason why we're really hyped on this one is because this won our most memorable of E3. If you guys remember, Ryan took the trip to E3 by his lonesome and fought the horde and ended up checking this game out, fell in love with it. He actually has a review up for this game on our website right now. Gave it an A- from GameOctane, so you guys can check that out. And on top of that, we are giving a copy of Last Day of June away today at the end of this podcast. Those watching right now on Twitch, make sure you're following us and you type !LDOJ for Last Day of June. It will automatically enter you into the raffle, and we'll be giving that out later. Moving down the list, Sonic Mania for PC. Kurt, have you played this one yet? At all?
No, but my wife is actually kind of a little excited. I
There
showed
you
it
go.
to her, and she's a Sonic lover, so I got a picture on it a little bit more, and maybe she'll.
Yeah, it came out like 2 weeks ago for the consoles, but PC barely got it today for whatever reason. But people have been loving it. It's been a really fun game.
PC's always a little bit late. We're the best, but we're always late. We just gotta be patient for the greatness.
Yeah, you had to be patient for the greatness, and yeah, everyone raged. It was our buddy Travis was really pissed off that he couldn't get the game. And he had to watch everyone play it before he got to play it, so it was kind of fun. Another big one, Absolver. I guess it wasn't that big, but it seems to be taking a lot of people's time. They're really enjoying the fighting and the melee aspect of it. Logan or Kurt, any ideas on Resolver? I have not played it. I played it a little bit at PlayStation Experience, but that's the last of my intent on it so far.
So really quickly, it looks like there's a comment that our audio is low. I don't know if that's something on my side from our studio or if that's something you can adjust.
I'll add it. I got it up.
But so I'm actually pretty excited about Absolver. I'll admit I'm not a crazy big fighting game guy. I'm not big into Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or any of the more conventional 2D fighters. And I didn't really stay very long in some of the more recent Ultimate Fighter games that have been out there. But there's something about Absolver, and I don't know, maybe it's just because it looks so dang pretty. But there's something there to the dynamic that they worked out with their fighting styles and the different position or the stances that you take and how those all flow into other combats or other moves that you make. And I don't want to say, again, I haven't touched it yet. I've heard a couple people compare it to a rock, paper, scissors sort of thing. I don't think that holds true from what I've seen so far. It definitely does seem like it's a dynamic fighting dynamic combat system that just looks really good. Yes, it may be weak on the plot. I mean, but if a game is really good, if the combat is really good, it kind of stands on its own. I mean, I'm not always bound to having a game have a really deep and heavy plot that's got to go along with it. If the gameplay is fun, right?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, so far it sounds like it's going to be really good.
Yeah,
I'm very interested in my hands on it.
Yeah, we played a little bit. What's up?
I was watching some streamers play a little bit of it. It does look really interesting. It reminded me a lot of For Honor, but without the melee weapons.
Yeah.
And so I think it shows a lot of potential. I think but its success really comes down to the execution of whether or not their servers are going to hold the load and be able to keep connections, because that's where For Honor really
crashed.
Crumbled. They failed horribly on there because their servers were awful. They were awful during the beta, and so everyone's like, "Oh, okay, well, it's the beta." But then that held true when the game released, and the player base just tanked
big time.
Well, and actually, I'm excited because it looks like there's going to be some melee weapons in Absolver too. It's not all. I mean, it's melee, but it's not. Yeah, you mean I haven't seen any spears, but I have seen some swords and such. I don't know. There's a lot to the game, and really everyone that I have looked at or listened to has said that the combat system is just top notch. That they've done something really cool. They really got it worked out to where it's not one-sided in any way, and that people want. I mean, it's got a very steep learning curve supposedly, but once you get past that learning curve, very engaging, really fun. But the one main criticism I've heard is that the plot's just not there. And like I said, if the game plays well enough, you don't have to rely on the storyline to keep it going. My concern with that, though, is that it's just going to get stale over time. Because as good as your combat system is, if it's repetitive and there's not enough variation and they don't keep up with new content enough, then eventually they're gonna have a reigning supreme player base that just kind of rules the roost. And it's really hard for new players to get involved later on down the road.
No, I fully agree. Yeah, once you get to a certain point in the game where the regulars start taking over and the new players kind of get disgruntled a little bit, I can see that happening pretty quick. It was fun. It was really competitive. The demo we played at PlayStation Experience was just a 1 versus 1. You just basically showed up on a cliff and you just beat the hell out of each other, and it was pretty fun. Like we were like, oh, this is kind of cool. We're kind of messing around. Then it got kind of serious. We're like, okay, well, look at the. I learned a new move, and I'm gonna try to continue beating your ass in front of all these people. Like it was pretty fun. We had a good time.
Did you feel like it's got a strong potential for a heavy competitive player base and a tournament style player base?
It's hard to say. From what the demo played, like just the gameplay of it was really deep, and I can know a lot of people will take a hold of that. But I think it may also push some people away because it is a pretty deep combat. It's not a fast-paced combat like Street Fighter or anything like that. You're doing a lot of blocking, a lot of parrying, and really learning your fighter. I mean that's kind of what you do with Street Fighter and the other fighting games, but this seems a little more open because it's 3D. Like the old school Virtual Fighter where you have more open area. It's not just 2D. Like you can sidestep a punch and deliver your own. It's really deep into that kind of aspect of it.
I thought it was really cool from what it looks like with the different skill trees and such. You can get very, very deep into a particular playing style, which does lend itself to then multiple characters and playing different ways. But at the same time, I also wonder if that's really necessary.
Yeah.
I think that there's a balance there where skill trees are a great thing. They provide a lot of customization, and then skill tree where it's just like it's mundane and it's just a bunch to try and understand, and you're constantly doing this whole mathematical equation to figure out what's the absolute best fighting style, and everybody's going with that exact same tech tree or skill tree because that's known to be the best.
Yeah, the lack of balance could really offset things, and then you see that a lot early iterations of Division, and or
Division
like even World
really
of Warcraft.
that.
Like when in the skill trees, you had your dark priests or your damage dealers, and then you had there was only one way to build a mage. If you didn't build your mage that way, it was wrong. And so, yeah, if the different options within those skill trees aren't balanced, then it can really get mundane, like you were saying.
Yeah, I think it's doing pretty well. I mean, rating wise and review wise, it's $30, so it may push some people out. Like I said, if there's not a major story, and I know the servers have been kind of having a hard time because I think they hit like 18,000 concurrent players on Steam or something like that, which is great, but it's not good for the servers if they're struggling.
Yeah,
considering it only came out the other day, so. Yeah.
Wait, how do you feel about that price range for these types of games? I mean, it seems like to be with I mean, I don't want to lump Battlegrounds immediately into that, but Battlegrounds was $30, right?
Yep. It's still $30.
Was it 30 or 40?
It's 29.
Okay. And that's early release, and we get that. It may or may not change once it hits full release, whenever that blessed day comes.
Yeah.
But it seems like we're having this interesting middle ground of games developed at a price range that's very competitive with the AAA titles that are coming in at $60 and $70 and $80 for the higher deluxe editions that are delivering on a gameplay level. They're not a star-studded cast, sure. They may not have super heavy-duty plot lines, but the gameplay makes it really work, and it really the price range allows a lot of players to get involved and into it because they're not really willing to invest the $60 for the AAA studded games. And I'm very excited to see more of this happen. What do you think?
I mean, I was going to touch on that a little later, but I think it's awesome because I can technically buy 2 games for the same price as I would pay $60. So I think it gives gamers more power, I guess I would say, against AAA. Like, hey, I'm willing to pay $30, no problem. Like, hell, I'll drop 2 $30 games compared to your $60 game where I'm only play for a little bit, or it may just suck.
I don't even care if this game sucks. I'm going to get my $30 out of this one.
I
may not get my $60 out of your AAA title, but I'm going to get my $30
I'm
out
a damn well get my $30 out of this one. That's for damn sure. But yeah, from going off what you're saying, I mean, it's not, like I said, story's not there, but they really have the combat style down. So I think people that are really into martial arts and stuff like that will probably take a hold of this game really, really strongly. I think the casual gamers and stuff, I don't think it's going to be much for them, but I really think fighting in general, maybe UFC people may jump on it. I mean, that they kind of like the mixed martial arts stuff because it's going to have something that they want to do, and they want to be able to control it themselves in a different kind of atmosphere. But yeah, no, I fully agree. Kurt, anything else on that before we jump to the next one?
No, I think we can go on to the next one. I don't have anything else on that one.
Fine.
I know this next game is once a year looking bought, and I've enjoyed playing so far.
You damn right. Everybody's golf. I've been waiting for this goddamn game for months, years. And I told Ryan, go find everybody's golf at the E3. I want to see it at E3. I want to get something out of it. And he never went. Or he saw it, and that was it. He didn't realize it was Hot Shots Golf. This game has been really fun. It's an action, goofy, humorous little golf game, but it's more than just golf now. You build your character's stats on the single player mode, and then you have to then you can take those stats into the multiplayer and play tournaments and stuff using your stats. Every little thing that you do, so if you drive a ball or hit a ball with any club with 90%, 95% or higher, you automatically level up your power stat for that club. Same thing with backspin, it goes on and on. So it's nice and deep, and then the only major changes is that all the courses are open world. So when you're in multiplayer, you literally just run and sprint around the course. You can just hop onto a tee box and just start playing if you wanted to. They have golf cart racing now. They have fishing in the game. Like it's just insane. But it's been really fun. I've been playing it. I streamed a couple hours the other day. It's been really fun. If anyone hasn't played it yet and you like golf at all, it's it's well worth your money. It's only like $30, so you can't go wrong with it. But
it's
yeah,
only PS4, correct?
it's only PS4,
Yeah.
so it's only PS4. It's a Hot Shots golf game that's only been on PS4, so they're kind of sticking with the same company.
It makes sense. It's just,
We're not quite there yet. I can't quite justify a PS4, not for golf.
Hey,
Last of Us 2.
I would.
That'll get me there.
I would. I'd spend $400 in that golf game if I had to. No, it's been fun. It's been real fun. Moving on to what we've been playing this week. I think it's $39.99. My apologies. It's $40. Kurt, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Civ 5. I've dabbled a little bit in Doom.
The new one? The new Doom? Or Doom like Doom 95?
Oh, no, the new one. The one that was released last year.
I thought you were going retro on us. That would have been awesome.
No, that would be cool too. But I heard a lot of really good things about this Doom, and I wanted to give it a shot. And then with my recent dive into the PC world, I figured that
why the hell not
play some more Doom. Yeah, and then the other game that's kind of like off the deep end for me. That's something I wouldn't normally play, but it's really quick and easy to get in and out.
Yeah,
and it's something I can play while I'm rocking my 3-week-old son to sleep. Is Trials Fusion.
Trials Fusion. I haven't played that game in such a long time.
Yeah, it was like a free grab for the Xbox Gold.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think last month, and
That's
so I picked it up, and
it's fun. It's addicting.
Now I jump motorcycles.
Now you're doing flips and chasing explosions.
I think my wife and I are. I think we are at least 60% of the way through the game, complete golds.
Wow!
So we're making good progress. Yeah, that's our thing. Is I mean, talk about another good game though. That they got something really, really right and just stuck to it.
Yep.
Wasn't really like determined to have a strong plot. I mean, Trials has no real plot except for that squirrel, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, just solid gameplay and really knew what to do with crazy out of this world motocross
physics and like the ragdoll when he falls off the bike just cracks me up.
And so we just made it this thing. We're like, all right, whenever we I guess we get frustrated or whatever, we just need a real good punching bag game. Trials is our go-to, and we just run on that thing until we get gold, and it's so satisfying when you finally get gold on some of these extreme levels. And that's a really good game, and they got something really perfect about it. They got this little addiction going to the payoff that you get when you get gold on those levels, because it is so hard.
Yeah, some of those levels are just disgustingly hard. Does the Xbox One have like the create your own level mode?
I'm pretty sure it does.
I thought it does.
I haven't been.
I wasn't sure. I haven't messed with it.
But it has some modes that I haven't touched yet. I mean, I just was like, all right, let's just get going. And, here's a game that I'm not going to, I mean, I'll need 2 hands for, but like if I'm not going to, it's not so overly complicated. I don't have to do any weird stuff. And so it's just really easy to play. And then it's easy to pick up and put down really quickly. So.
Got it. I think I bought that game like when it first came out, so I haven't touched it in a while, and I remember it being, and I know there's been a shit ton of updates since last time, so I may have to dust that one off. So myself, I played a little bit of the COD beta, the Call of Duty World War II beta.
How was that?
It's actually pretty fun. I mean, they did a really good job with everything, balancing. Everything's already pretty good right off the box. It looks good. It's just I suck at it. on the controller. I'm not good at it at all. Like I've been doing terrible, but it's been good. It's been good. I really want to play it on PC to try it, but they don't have a PC beta, and they gave us those codes. If anybody wants codes, we actually have 10 more Call of Duty World War II beta codes. You can find the link on our Twitter or Facebook. We'll be giving out those tomorrow night because the beta is supposed to start Saturday, but I think they started it today. But I'm still going to wait till Saturday to get everyone entered on it. Play Everybody's Golf, of course. The game's been fun.
You're giving them away Friday night, right?
Giving away Friday night because it was technically supposed to start Saturday morning, but I think they started it today already. But yeah, Friday night about the same time. We probably may
Give
not.
us extra play time in a beta.
Okay.
Oh, darn them.
Damn them. Yeah, but yeah, so I'll be giving away probably this. I probably won't stream. I'm probably just gonna set it off and just hit people up like I did last time. I don't think I'm gonna have time to stream tomorrow. I've been playing a little bit of Escapist 2, and I'm gonna start Sundered soon to get our more reviews going. But Escapist 2 has been pretty freaking fun. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. It's like a kind of a 16-bit.
Yep.
I don't know, prison
Just a little
simulator. Yeah, it's been pretty cool.
No,
So.
I haven't seen that. Oh, I've seen that a little bit. I'm when it first ended up on our list for a game that for a review, I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. But then when I was on Steam the other day, I saw that they have a Walking Dead version, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool twist. I was like, that
Oh yeah, it's like an add-on, huh?
For that type of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Like you can just do your prison thing and not worry about escaping and just like mass up an empire, or you'd be like, no, I'm gonna dig through this wall tonight, and like you can start chipping away and trying to break it. It's pretty fun. Okay, Logan, anything you've been playing this week?
Yeah, I'm Battlegrounds is kind of just the thing right now. I can't stop playing it, except for when I'm playing. It's kind of funny. Like we were kind of getting prepped, and I looked over at Kurt, and I'm like, "You and I are playing the exact same game." So I'm wondering if there's like a category of young dad games. These are the things that all young dads play right now. Because it's Battlegrounds, it's Civ 5. Because my wife is also way into Civ 5.
That's awesome.
And we'll play Trials on occasion.
God damn, you guys doing the same thing. I feel left out. I feel
really
left
weird.
out now.
I didn't even know.
Join us.
Y'all gotta get on the golf hype though.
You need to get Battlegrounds, Jason.
I will.
Battlegrounds?
I don't have it yet. No. I bought him. I bought everybody's golf.
Too fun not to get.
And it's the last game I bought since Zelda. Like I've been so busy with reviews, I haven't had time to buy a game. But everybody's golf deserves some recognition. That's fine. I'll get it, and we'll do a co-stream. We'll all hop on, and you'll see how absolute shit I am.
There you go. That'd be a good idea. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Battlegrounds has just got it worked out to where I just keep going back and back and back. And the fact that they're releasing new content on such a good cadence, and it's just so much fun. You know, you can get into a game, you may last 5 minutes, you may last 45 minutes and win. It scratches the itch for me right now. So I have a hard time.
The format of the short. Well, we'll get into this later, but that short format really lends to being able to like jump on quickly and then
knock out a game
quickly too, and like not feel guilty.
Nope,
like,
I agree. I fully agree because I'm a huge Dota fan, and I can't handle playing Dota anymore because it's just way too long to play. Unfortunately,
that's interesting. And we're going to talk more about that later, right?
Yeah, we're going to dive all that stuff because we're going to get into some news to keep this going. We already got 30 minutes in. So cool. One of the biggest stories, I want to thank everyone for following us, most likely through the giveaways recently, but some of you have been around since day one. I want to thank everybody. We hit 50 followers on Twitch. I think the count right now is 55, which is great because we actually need to get 50 to be able to be affiliated. So hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll get an affiliate and get a sub button, get some emotes. We're gonna just hopefully take over the world after that. So I want a huge shout out to everyone. Thank you so much for following us. We're gonna dive back into the Mario plus Rabbids because it's getting favorable reviews, and this is kind of more of a fun discussion. It's not really a story. What other Nintendo properties would you like third parties to take over? I brought up, and we kind of Ryan and I think we're talking about it. I thought about Fallout Metroid, like a Metroid game based like Fallout, where you have the quests. You're gonna have to travel the open world. You'll have the dungeons and stuff like that.
You're trying to combine like Rabbids and Metroid. I'm like, that's an interesting pairing. But no, actually,
no Fallout engine, Metroid. But with Metroid skin. I guess you can say that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty sweet.
That would be pretty sweet. And I'm not a huge Metroid fan either, but like I do really like Fallout, and I think they've got a great game structure. The environmental storytelling that they've got is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a way for me to get into Metroid and learn all the lore and all that.
What about just companies in general? Like I think Bethesda. I think I'd give an IP to Bethesda and let them do what they want to do. I mean, Ubisoft is like. Yeah. what are you gonna have? Assassin's Creed Mario?
Yeah.
I mean, like we kind of already have that. Like, what else? What else
But they
would?
killed. Like
That would be so bad.
no, I think they really knocked it out of the park with this like XCOM Mario
Mhm.
Rabbids combination. I think it
Right.
looks, the gameplay looks fantastic, and people have been with us for a while and seen some of our podcasts know that I don't have a Switch. I don't really want to Switch, but Mario Rabbids kind of swayed me a little bit. Now it's the Switch for me is down the road, but it's still like, it's a possibility now
Okay.
because
Okay.
of that one game.
Because of Mario plus Rabbids. So, because I'm gonna, before we go a little further, there's a lot of people, like I said, they're really liking this game, and there are a lot of Mario purists, I guess you can say, that are like, what is this shit? This is not a Mario game. Like,
No,
like,
it's
like
not.
people are saying it's worse than Mario and Sonic
Mario.
at the Olympics. Like, it's just insane how people
Let's
hate
get
this game on the
something-
opposite.
Let's get something really straight here, though. Nintendo has made some very poor business moves over the last decade.
Yeah, we
that
can.
have hurt
I'll
them
agree to that.
significantly. Right? And they have always had to rely on the strong player base or the traditional player base from I would say our generation that grew up with the NES, SNES, the N64, that have the nostalgia feel, right? And I think that what we've seen with the Nintendo console releases over the last 5 years, from the Wii U on, I don't know if I would say this so much about the Switch at this point, because I think the Switch is doing pretty well, but they're losing that. That player base is not hanging around and willing to repurchase the same games and titles on a new console or purchase a brand new console like we were before. And so I think this is a very inventive move for Nintendo. That it's a little bit strange. It's kind of a leap for them, but I'm glad to see that they're doing something rather than sticking to their old tricks. And okay, they are sticking with the same IPs rather than bringing new IPs in, but there's still a creativity level going on here. I was thinking about your question. I would kind of like to see a Telltale Mario game.
Oh shit! I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Telltale Mario.
I think Telltale's done some really, really cool stuff with a lot of different IPs. And I think that you could take the same style and apply that to a couple different IPs from Nintendo, Mario especially, that could actually be really fun. And
I would like to see a character that we haven't seen in a long time in a Telltale game. Maybe not like Wario or something like that.
See if I can come up with someone that would be a really good Telltale story.
I'm also trying to think of who I would hand Kirby off to. I would love to see a Kirby game, but I just can't think of what other developer or what other IP I would pair it off with.
Yeah, like a mashup gameplay concept. Yeah.
I was trying to think Kirby too. I was also really want to see the characters from Super Mario RPG, Malo or Geno. I want to see them come back somehow. And I think that'd be a pretty epic story, like that Telltale could bring. I didn't think of that. Telltale is actually a really good company. I would give anything to Telltale. They'd basically make money. What about Lego Mario? Let's put Mario and Legos.
Just bring some of their Mario Legos.
Mario Legos.
Let's put this
that you could actually do a lot with that one.
Competitor.
And you know what? If Lego actually came out with a Nintendo generation of Lego sets, I would be buying every single one of those things. I don't know anybody who wouldn't.
Yeah,
it'd be awesome.
It would be. Yeah, amiibos are hard enough to get as their own. Yeah.
You're paying two company like Star Wars and Lego. Like those things are expensive for a reason, because two people's pockets got to be filled.
Yes.
That's why those things are so. Like, did you see they just put up a new Millennium Falcon? It's the biggest Lego set ever.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't even see a price tag on it, but
$800 bucks.
Like $1,000.
It's $800 bucks.
What?
7,500 pieces, which is.
I haven't seen. Is this like more to scale?
It's more detailed. It looks amazing. It's $800. Okay, we're getting off topic, but it's $800. It's 7,500 pieces. The original one was like 5,000, I think, or there's something like that kind of thing.
Less than that. I think it was less than that.
Oh yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's
That thing's
badass.
sick.
It's sick. Anyway,
Whoa.
you can look at that while you're drooling. Kurt, let me
Right.
talk to you then. What about a Nintendo game in VR? Would you like to see one of the characters in a VR setting?
Yeah, no, that would be pretty sweet.
What about Yoshi in VR? Would that be
that's
kind of
your
sick?
Maybe that's
that'd
your
be cool.
Kirby. That's your Kirby title.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
your-
yeah.
is VR Kirby.
Sucking up enemies. That'd be actually kind of sick.
Yeah, I'm like, you gotta wah. That'd be weird. You just like whatever
Do
is
that-
in front
hold
of
on,
you.
do
just
that
goes
face.
like,
Do that
and
face
you
again.
Wah.
Actually, no, that makes perfect sense. And there's a lot of stuff that you could do with VR in the Nintendo arena.
The only
right?
problem is that
And that's
Nintendo is
actually-
not set up for VR, so this is definitely a wish list.
No, you're absolutely right. They're not. But I mean, in the discussion of VR in general, one of the biggest complaints has been that there's not enough games in VR that are worth playing that don't feel like a tech demo,
Yep.
right? And I think that's VR in general seems to be suffering from that, no matter what the platform is. But if you were able to pair a powerhouse IP from Nintendo with VR, I get to see that taking off like crazy.
Yeah.
It'd be sick.
Depending on obviously how it was done. But yeah, I mean, I think that's that for that whole that whole criteria type of games, the VR types of games, they're gonna have to do something like that. So if nobody is already looking at that, I would say they ought to be.
I mean, besides the Doom VR that's coming out, it's basically just the same game but reskinned. You're gonna have Fallout VR, which is the same game just in a VR headset. So I think the PC gamers are gonna get set pretty quick if you have a VR headset, like really quick. It's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything on Nintendo before we move on to actual more VR news? Do you guys have anything else to throw in there?
Let's step on to the next one.
Step on. PlayStation VR announced that they are having a new bundle. It is going to be $399, but this actually includes the camera this time around. Before, when it came out, it did not come with the camera. You had to buy that separately, which is about 80. I think it was $80. So you basically slash $80, and now you're getting into the PSVR. Sony did announce, I think 4 new games, including Star Child, which has been getting a lot of hype lately between E3 and the other game systems, and it's also sold over 1 million units worldwide back in June. It passed that mark, so it's a pretty impressive. The numbers are there, but the games are for sure are not there. It's getting a lot of, I see cobwebs. It's getting mad dust lately for a lot of people because there isn't a lot of replayability on it yet.
There is the discussion about the price point because at first glance you go $400. That's the cheapest way for somebody to get into VR at this point.
Well, some of the phones today will do it if you want the cheapest way.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on how you look about it or you look at it. If you were trying to get into VR and you already had a VR capable computer, then it's not really the cheapest way because you're still going to have to buy a PS4 and then another $400 for the VR. Whereas if you just buy a Vive, which I think is $600 now,
I think so.
You know that they're still a little bit cheaper to go that route. But if you've got a PS4, I mean that's still really cheap. That's a really good option to get into VR and start playing around with it. But I agree, Jason. Unless some games are coming out really soon that really take advantage of it, I just can't justify throwing down another $400 on top of the $400 I already spent on the PS4 itself.
Yeah. So we had a big stream where they all came over. I think it's on YouTube. We all played a bunch of the games. A lot of them are tech demos. Some of them are like Batman and stuff. We had a blast. But again, once like the guys who brought the headsets over went home, they're like, yeah, I was kind of done with it. Like a couple days later, like the hype wasn't too much there. It's funner with another. It's kind of like the Wii. It's always fun with someone else. Like it wasn't too fun playing by yourself doing certain things. It's fun to have people watch you do things. But I think
it's kind of fun.
Run your head into the window like
Noah
did.
Yeah, I hit the window. That was
his head through the window.
No, not through the window, but he's playing and like he dodged something and like he was like, "Whoa, look at that!" and he goes right into the window.
Yeah,
so funny.
Yeah, I was like, look over the edge. Or something.
I always felt like VR was one of those things that you didn't want to do with a crowd because of how ridiculous you look, and like, I'm gonna do this at home by myself because I don't want to look like an idiot. But it's the exact opposite. You almost feel more embarrassed doing it at home by yourself than you do with a crowd that's there to laugh at you when you hit stuff.
Yeah.
I'm by myself, but now I'm going to put myself in a bubble. Ooh, no. Let's let other people watch.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works.
Everybody wanted to see you play the Resident Evil 5 demo, right? Or 7.
It was Resident Evil 7, and I almost shit myself.
Yeah.
Almost shit everywhere.
Everybody wanted to see that.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. It was a lot of fun. But again, the prices dropped. And whether it's going to grab more people, it could, because you're going to get the camera now. It's $70 cheaper,
Right.
especially right before the holidays, and right before some of the larger games for PlayStation VR coming out. But again, it's.
Do you think the price point's really going to be the ultimate deciding factor on VR and what platform people buy, though?
For casual gamers, yeah. I would say yeah. I mean, it depends on what market. It depends on what market you're going to hit. Like if you want to hit the hardcore gamers, they already either bought it or they're waiting for something major for them to grab it. They don't care about the price. They'll put it on a credit card. You know, they'll find a way to get that system in their hand. You know,
They still a kidney.
yeah, but there's a lot of
Kid.
if you don't have it.
Child.
Yeah, if you don't have it on PC, you're really not getting the benefit of the PSVR. I know I talked about this last time we talked about PSVR, but we were in a group panel at Silicon Valley Comic Con, and we discussed where virtual reality is in general. And this guy who does The Void, who does the Ghostbusters thing in Salt Lake City, the huge warehouse where you're actually walking around, and if there's an object in the game, there's an object in the floor. So if there's a chair, you'll run into the chair. So everything's 100%. And he's like, right now VR is in the state of infancy, as silent film was the movies today. Like, we have this technology, we don't know how to harness it yet. We're still learning how to use it and how to make this medium better, and that's where we're at. They said the headset technology is much higher, is the best technology they have out of everything. The story technology is not there because people have to think in 3D now. They have to think in immersive environments, and then the controller technology is crap. They said we would love to have controllers like just have gloves on or something to make it more accurate. They just don't have that technology yet. They said the headset, because of cell phones, because it gets so many pixels in this little tiny box, the headsets look amazing, and you're almost getting 4K, visuals through your headset, but you're not getting the full experience that they're trying to unlock for. So that's where they're at. They said they're trying to figure out where to unlock and make everything come together. So right now they do feel like tech demos because they're still testing things out.
At first glance, I might agree with that article and say and that comparison, but I also think that there's a key difference between those two mediums and what's going to play a factor unless something changes very soon, and that's accessibility and price point.
Yep.
The original black and white, soundless films, the moving pictures, there was still a price point factor there that allowed people of any income level, for the most part, to go in and experience it, right? The entry point for a good VR experience, and I'm not sure that I would put the PSVR in that bucket yet, but I think that it does have some quality issues, is still tremendously high. And so I agree, we are talking about a technology that's very relatively new, even though I think VR is now, since the Oculus was announced in when was that announced?
So it's technically been VR. I mean, you talk about the Virtual Boy. I mean, that's technically VR if you're really, really going to get down to it. It's been around for 20 years, give or take.
I am concerned that we're not going to see a decrease in the price, increasing the accessibility, and a development of enough games before its time is going to pass. And that wave, I do think that it's a wave factor, and that there's a optimal amount of interest that people are going to take in VR before something else is going to come along and kind of replace that interest. So unless they can do something quickly and bring the price down and get a surge in consumers, I think they're going to lose it.
So I feel like I kind of like you said, I kind of agree the comparison between the mediums. It's still like and it's in an early stage of storytelling. I think that's what it is. They're not just trying to play something, but I feel like it's almost at a point where the arcades were, like back when we were growing up, going to a pizza parlor, going to somewhere to play a game because you couldn't afford that game at your house. And I feel like that's where it's at right now. To get the ultimate experience of VR, you're going to have to go to a third-party location like the Void, where the whole warehouse is set up and the technology is like $10,000, which you're not going to be able to afford. And I think that's maybe where we're at now. And until they can dumb that down into a way we can get it into our hands, which is going to be damn near impossible having it inside your house and be able to walk around. I mean, that's probably never going to happen.
I think so. I've kind of been of the thought that I think augmented reality is going to be a little bit easier to conceptually build games for.
Okay. Yeah.
Mostly because of like the safety factor. You put a VR goggles on your head. You either have to sit down or be in a very controlled environment.
Yeah.
And I would even say that your home doesn't even count as that controlled environment because Noel's looking around and whacking his head into windows. and
yeah.
I mean, as funny as that is, once you stand up and like you're moving around, things can go bad fast.
No, I fully agree.
And secluding yourself away from the outside world, not knowing what your body is doing because your mind is somewhere else. They've got to figure out a way to make that possible, the movement within the game, yet still keep the players safe. And so in conceptually, in my mind, I think augmented reality is going to be a bit safer and people are going to be a little bit more accepting of it, even though that the tech is not where it's at.
Well, augmented reality is already taken off with the Pokemon Go. I mean, that's just blowing up, already as it is. So
True.
it's
in a way, yes, that. But I mean, like, of augmented reality headset, those are starting to be developed. They showed off Minecraft 3D like 4 years ago at E3. I thought that was freaking cool. I was like, oh, that's Legos.
That
Legos cost
Legos.
about the same.
Yeah. So it just that's my view on the VR thing. Is just because of ultimately the safety factor for players is gonna trump.
Well, I want to, there's a question on the chat that I want to address with that. From, is it Fursion?
Fursion,
Jason.
Fursion.
Okay, so Fursion says, what about features like Guardian System on Oculus? And that's a fair point. There are some safety features that are tied in.
But that's a much more costly system. One and two, you have to set up like a curtain basically where it monitors where you are. So it's a little different.
Additionally, to Kurt's point that he was also kind of mentioning was the dedication of the space. Yeah. There's still that barrier of how many people have a dedicated 10 by 10 or 8 by 8 space in their living room or in a bedroom that they can dedicate to that entire thing. I mean, most people don't. And so going somewhere else, an arcade or a warehouse or somewhere else that can host that type of experience, it's probably going to take a push towards that sort of setup for there to be widespread adoption. But that, again, we're just talking about something that is very capital intensive to get going.
I fully understand. Anyone else? Last words on it before we keep moving on? We're going to get over this hour, but I think we're going to be okay. I'll take it. So, real quick, Sony made a huge announcement that they are upping their Switch production for the holidays. So if someone doesn't have a Switch,
Sony's making the Switch now.
Nintendo, sorry.
I just messed with you. Yeah, Nintendo.
I'll fight you. Sorry. Yeah, I think I was looking at the Sony on my tab on my news. They announced that they're gonna ramp up their production. So people that don't have a Switch now looking for the holidays, it hopefully should be a lot easier to find. I know they're starting to trickle and start sitting on shelves a little longer now, but in probably a month or two when people are starting Christmas shop, they're not going to be much longer. So that's good news for a lot of people that are looking to jump on that Switch for the holidays for sure.
I actually haven't ran into anybody that's been dying to buy a Switch that hasn't been able to find one recently.
Right.
The other day I went into Toys R Us and they had two sitting on the shelves and I was like, do I buy one? And I was like, no, not enough games for me yet.
Bitch.
So,
not enough rabbits.
Yeah, not enough rabbits. You need more rabbits.
And I already played Zelda
Zelda
Breath of the Wild. So Yeah.
I'll give you my
Anyways,
copy. Anyway, yeah, so that's good news. It's good news for a lot of gamers, especially younger gamers that don't know they're getting one this holidays. It'd be really easy for parents not to pay a scalper's price to get those, so that's pretty sick.
no kidding.
I'm counting on that scalper's prices. I got 2 SNESs ready for Craigslist, buddy.
I got one coming, but that's gonna
Christmas.
sit
It's all
on my
paid for
desk.
Christmas.
That's sitting on my desk. Crackdown 3 was announced in 2014. Just recently, they delayed it to 2018. Microsoft now admitted that they made a mistake announcing the game as early as they did.
3 years later.
Yeah,
3 years.
four.
to
It's
admit
4.
that.
Yeah. It's been a while. So,
Or,
the Microsoft
3.5
Studios
years.
publishing general manager Shannon Loftus. I don't know if that's a she. Okay. Her opinion: the game was announced prematurely. I don't know if that was her decision. I don't. She doesn't look like she's taking credit, but she's saying the definitely.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. Yeah, it definitely seems like she's trying to like, this is them,
Yeah.
not me. I'm responsible for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting tone.
Yeah, we underestimated the challenge in making sure the quality of all those modes, and we had to take extra time, and we weren't. It was a super hard decision to make it push back. I'm like, it should have been a hard decision to announce the game. If you literally 4 years later, that's you could have had people release 2 games in 4 years. Like, come on, it's a bit rough.
I would much rather them announce a game, projecting that they're going to build it, and then when they know that they're not going to meet that deadline, because the quality of that game is not what they were expecting or not what they wanted, and then say, all right, we need more time, sorry, and then put out a good game as opposed to.
Yeah, but when do you announce a game a little early? Like, that seems to be really early to say.
I'm wondering if it's at all related to the slump. So the Xbox One was announced or was released in end of 2013, and then there was that 2-year slump where both the PS4 and the Xbox One were suffering from poor dedicated releases for their platforms. Yeah. And their willingness to throw out Crackdown 3 as a way of driving Xbox One sales, which lagged for a really long time, could be an explanation behind it. They were just willing to do anything they could to drive up excitement or interest in the Xbox One. And Crackdown, I mean, that's a really strong franchise, right? It's got a strong following. So I could see how in a boardroom they're going, look, we're show me no idea is a bad idea, which every idea is a bad idea at that point.
Yeah.
That's going to get us interest in our floundering sales. Mario Rabbids, like you said.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that guy who gets called from Ubisoft, like, hey, we're going to finally give you a chance to develop a game. Like, oh, sweet, what is it? It's Super Mario. What? With rabbits. Fuck! Like, I can just see his heart just drop.
And by the way, it's going to be a turn-based XCOM style game.
Yeah.
What?
But hey, I'm going to say that whatever magic he worked, he did a pretty good job. I'll have to go with that.
He's like, people are going to love it.
Brilliant. Okay, moving on. Let's go to our main segment. Done with Microsoft, done with Crackdown. This is why we brought our nice friend Logan along to talk with us about. We're going to go over the arena genre, arena shooters. I'm thinking that's the name of it. I don't know if there's an official name. That's what I just dubbed it. I think it's arena something, but not sure.
Yeah, arena last man standing. Or it's kind of the best way to describe it.
That makes sense.
I wouldn't even call it a survival shooter.
No, I wouldn't call it a survival shooter at all.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, survival doesn't quite fit, but I don't know.
I think in order to be a true survival game, there's a certain degree of construction that has to happen.
Yeah.
Before it's truly a survival game.
Yeah, I mean, you want to survive, but that's like almost every game. You kind of want to survive, so.
Yeah. When I think of a survival game, I'm thinking of Rust or heck, I mean, even Minecraft is kind of more of a true survival game.
Yeah.
Than I think PUBG is. It's battle royale. That's what I was trying to
go.
Battle royale is the term that I would use.
Arena battle royale. I'll take it. Okay, so anyone that's not familiar with the arena battle royale. whatever you want to call it. That's what we're going with. H1Z1, King of the Kill, and PUBG are the big names right now in this genre. For those aren't familiar with it, basically you get dropped off in a limited area. Even though I say limited, it's pretty damn large. And you basically have nothing on your body. You have to scavenge around for weapons and, depending on the game, parts and upgrades and armor and health. And basically you want to be the last man standing. And that could either be you sneaking around and not killing anyone and waiting until the end, or going balls out and shooting everything that moves and trying to stay alive. These games recently have taken off in the PC world. It seems like everyone has one or both of these games in their titles or in their libraries on Steam. But I want to dive into, before we get into the individual ones, why do you think this genre is just blown up out of nowhere? Like, what makes this more popular right now? Because just for stats, PUBG a couple days ago beat Dota 2 in concurrent users. And for it was only for like like 30 minutes or a couple minutes, but that's massive to be able to beat a game like Dota, which is a free game. And Dota 2, for those who don't know, just finished their national championship or the world championship. So like this game has a lot of hype leading off of that tournament they just had. So to have PUBG destroy that, not destroy it, but to beat them, that says a lot. That says a lot.
Yeah,
it's huge. So
How long has Dota 2 been around?
But Dota 2 is gaining more users every single day. That's the difference, though. Dota 2, even though it's been around for years, I said, their world tournament with a prize pool of like $20 million just ended. So people are still playing this game and learning the new updates, and you have a lot of new users that, hey, I want to know what Dota 2 is. Shit, it's free. I'm going to hop into it. So having that just end and PUBG take them over, that's a pretty impressive feat.
Dota 2, July 9th, 2013. So you're talking about a game that's been out for 4 years.
For a little over 4 years. And this Battlegrounds
in pre-release.
Yeah, in pre-release has been out for what, 4 months?
Since April.
That's what I'm saying. Like why do you think this genre is taking off? Because even not just PUBG, but even King of the Kill have had very steady concurrent numbers over the last couple months.
It's interesting because I keep hearing how Battleground specifically is killing a lot of its competitors, including King of the Kill.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into that. Later. I just want to talk about the genre.
That's a whole other subject. I think a lot of it comes down to it's scratching an itch, and I think that the majority of gamers are around, or even the more hardcore gamers are still around our generation, and I think that this type of game, the pacing, the level of commitment that it takes is able to fit a large number of our generation of gamers. Mm-hmm. It's cheap. A lot of these games are not full AAA titles, so they're not $60. Yep. So your point of entry is lower, or cost of entry is lower. And again, as we were talking earlier, and I don't want to use Battlegrounds for all the examples of this, but it really does do a good job of being an example. You can get in, you can play a game for a short amount of time and get out and not touch the game for a week, come back, and you are just on the same even playing field as everybody else in the game that you were a week before. Mm-hmm. You can't say that about a lot of other major MMOs, because if you're gone for a week or around a major patch, you could lose a huge amount of progress compared to the people that you play with or those that you're competing against. And that just doesn't happen in a game that is so focused on everybody starting at the same level at second zero.
Yep.
Or minute zero. I think that's probably the biggest thing. It's the commitment level is so low compared to a lot of other games.
I think
or types of games.
Go ahead, Kurt. Do you have anything to branch off of that?
No.
On why?
What drew me to Battlegrounds in the first place was
Logan.
It has a team element, which no, it wasn't necessarily Logan. I was already looking at it, and he goes, "I hear you're building a new PC. You should get Battlegrounds." I'm like, "I've already been looking at it, but I'm just waiting for my graphics card to show up." He goes, "Okay, let me know when you get it." So that said, it's a team. It's you can play as a team, you can play as a solo, and those are separate from each other. You've got the solo rounds, you got the duos if you only got another buddy to play with, or you can play in a group of 4. So and all of those, they're different servers. You either land on an island with a bunch of other solo players, or a bunch of other duos, or a bunch of other squads, and that separation doesn't put you at a disadvantage. You're not put at a disadvantage if you're only playing by yourself. And then the team aspect, I love games where you have to do something with a team. You're trying to accomplish something. And normally I like fighting bigger monsters or those kinds of things, and you have to coordinate different skills. But this still scratches that team play itch that I used to get from vanilla WoW. And then, like we mentioned a couple times before, you're in and out. You can play for 5 minutes to 45 minutes, or you could sit down and play it for a few hours because you want to get a bunch of rounds in. And then, especially like Logan said, you miss a week of playing. The only thing that you're missing out on is people's skills are getting better, not necessarily the character that you're leveling up or whatever is missing out on gear drops or anything else that's RNG related.
Or you're missing out on the ranking levels. I mean, you probably drop down a rank a little bit, but it depends how competitive you are.
Yeah, for the competitive players, I guess that wouldn't ring true. I mean, there's the folks that they've got to play 10 games in a day in order to keep their ranking, and I'm definitely not that guy. But that's also not the majority of players, right? And I don't think that's why it's so successful. These games do. Speaking of scratching itches, there's a certain level of competitiveness that comes from these. I was about to call it a survival game, even though we just decided it's not a survival game. But these battle royale games can be very competitive, and I think that's something that not every game is as accessible in that degree as battle royale style games.
I want to just to jump in real quick. I feel you guys hit it directly on the head without me even saying a word. The competitiveness and the teamwork, if you choose to do the teamwork side, like so you can just run it alone and never talk to a person in your life besides maybe trying to teabag them or whatever at the end. But I think the competitiveness is a competitive aspect of game that hasn't been around or hasn't been seen in gaming in a long time. For so long, it's just been Call of Duty or Battlefield or Counter-Strike, and they try to have a couple modes like, oh, there's gun mode, oh, there's capture the flag, but it never got the, I'm gonna call it like savageness that this has. Like, you're starting with nothing. You can literally, one dumb mistake can ruin the whole game, and you can die. Like, you land in the wrong spot with 40 dudes and you run into the house that has zero ammo or zero weapons, and you just get blasted, and that's just the way the game works. Sometimes it's good to you, sometimes it's
the
terrible.
Level of chance. Yeah, the chance aspect of the game really plays into that. You're absolutely right. If you were to compare this to a more traditional first-person shooter, even something like Halo or Call of Duty, and I'm not suggesting that you really should, because they're very, very different games, but you if you bring up Call of Duty specifically, one of my hardest points about Call of Duty is the player base being at a point where the game releases, and within a week, I am so outmatched in terms of skill level compared to other players and compared to the kits that they're running with.
For buying kits, because you can pay for those kits as well.
Right. So there's an immediate unevenness there to those games that Battle Royale games don't have. And because there's still a strong aspect of chance to the game, even very, very skilled, high-ranking players could get poor luck, and they start, in a high-populated area, exactly like you said, with no ammo, and they're out within the first 20% of the players. And so, not a lot of other games or game styles can say that. They don't. They generally cater to people that have either bought the pay-to-win type of DLC or game kits, or invest enough time into the game to level up their character beyond. Or to such an uneven level that other players can't compete.
And then, just even hitting on that point is you've got console exclusivities that gives you early access if you pre-order, and so like those guys are getting a week a weekend or even a couple of days.
Yeah,
if
like
they're
yeah,
really dedicated.
3 days before it comes out, yeah, you get the.
They want to be at the top because they can't hang there when the pro guys are like, just give me a couple days, I'll prestige.
I mean, even like less like killing games, even sports games are doing that now, where you can jump in, get those cards, you can level up your team, build your. If you want to do the like the GM mode online, like you can get a team that's stacked before even anyone else even gets the game from the store. So there's little things like that. I know that separates this. Moving into the differences. Go for it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, finish your thought before I move on.
It's interesting that you were talking about the differences between a game that is primarily they're either low cost or free. If you want to put other games like League, which you can pay for characters, but it's primarily free, or Dota 2. As the stuff that you pay for in Battlegrounds or in any of these games, Team Fortress or Counter-Strike, they are skins. They have no bearing
just
on
visual
performance in the game whatsoever. And they're completely visual. But these games are monoliths in the gaming world, right? They have huge player bases, strong followings. They play on for years after release. Whereas we see other games that do promote pay to win stuff, even though they say, well, we're not pay to win, and the stuff that we give you is just a slight advantage, just a little bit, but they never seem to last as long. So as much as I criticize the DLC that's just the skins type stuff, these other games seem to make that work, and they make really strong profits off of it, without ever damaging their core game, because it doesn't affect the core game.
No, I fully agree. Go for it, Kurt.
It's a different game, but another example of how this is working is Overwatch. You've got these Blizzard is playing this right. They're like, you're playing for credits to get these skins, or you can give up money and get these skins for cash. And no one cares because it doesn't change the function of the game.
All it does is build hype. Like if someone shoots me, or I'm like, for example, I used to play a lot of Dota. Like if I saw someone with a skin that looks sick, I'm like, hold up, that dude doesn't look normal. Like what the fuck does he have? And like you'll look like, oh, he paid $1 for that. I'll pay $1, and it's just a hype train, and you just keep building it over and over again. Like I was playing Counter-Strike, and I was like, you know what? I have to buy a key to unlock this chest. Whatever, I'll just pay it like $1.99. I got a rifle. I got an op in there that I sold for $30 on the Steam market. Like it was insane that you can get these rare items that people will pay big money for, and it blows my mind. And
I had the same experience with the big DJ head Lucio. The first time I saw that guy when I first started playing Overwatch, I'm like, I want that. I want that real bad.
Yeah, it just looks cool. Like it doesn't make you play any better. It just makes you feel more of a badass. Which, I guess in theory it could make you play better because you're more pumped on it. But getting into the differences between the games, a little history. H1Z1 used to be an MMO about zombies. That's what it used to be. And then somehow they decided to convert this game into King of the Kill, survival, arena, however you want to place it. So it was taking kind of a crappy system and made a game off of it and continued having that crappy system. The difference is it was the first one of its kind, and it blew up big time. Like it made some serious money. It's still making money. It's been on sale, the Steam sales recently, and it jumps up to the top of the list. But recently, I want to say March, PUBG came out in March. April. Earlier this year. This game was built from the ground up, not working off an existing engine. It seems to be a lot more fluid, or it was a lot more fluid. The hit registry was a hell of a lot better. So people are starting to jump on the PUBG. I'm not going to call it a bandwagon, but they're starting to jump on it that used to play a lot of H1Z1 because they're tired of getting overrun by Koreans, or they're tired of getting overrun and losing firefights because the hit registry is not going off, or something to that effect. But PUBG also is branching off into Xbox One. They just announced that recently that they're going to come to consoles, and I think it's coming fairly soon. They're constantly updating PUBG. They seem to be doing much better listening to their fans than what H1Z1 is. I don't want to throw H1Z1 under the bus because that game is also pretty fun. It's got a lot of followers.
Nah, let's throw him under the bus.
Nah, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus, but you can. It's been doing really well. Recently, a patch came out. I'm gonna kind of go over it. Came out yesterday. Brand new patch. It opened up a new weapon. The gunplay got rebalanced. All the guns got rebalanced. Everything has a different style. Has supposedly improved weapon ballistics and hit markers and recoils and animation and blah blah blah. So this was a major update, and a lot of people are jumping back and forth between these two games when updates hit because they get kind of fed up with one or the other. I think they added more spots on the map. They added navigation where you can actually put waypoints on the map you can go to. There's a lot of different additions they've been doing because they're starting to fall behind in the game because because PUBG is starting to take off. Both of you guys play PUBG. I have King of the Kill. I do not have PUBG yet. My experience with King of the Kill is that I get frustrated very easily because I feel like I suck. But like you said, it's because of the luck I get or because I just don't have enough time to invest in it to get the skill to understand where the hitboxes is. But people that are playing PUBG, they're like, you should play PUBG because it seems to be easier to play and not be terrible at it right off the bat because you don't have to learn the tricks of the game to get into it. Do you guys only play PUBG or do you have H1Z1 as well between both of you?
I only have PUBG.
Okay.
But I do want to make a point. I'm glad that these two games are competing against each other because competition always
is
brings
good.
innovation and always brings quality. And if both games get better, fine. And maybe I'll buy H1Z1, maybe not. But its existence and its success birthed PUBG, and then PUBG bringing quality has made H1Z1 better. And so as long as these two are going at it, I hope both of them are successful.
Yep, I fully agree.
Yeah, I agree. And it's really interesting to see since PUBG released the strategy that H1Z1 has taken towards marketing, because they've become very aggressive in their online marketing, trying to highlight the fact that, and I don't want to say right on the coattails of PUBG's success because they were around first, but I think PUBG brought a lot of new consumers to market that weren't there and interested in H1Z1 before, for a lot of different reasons. I think H1Z1 is still suffering from their history. I
agree,
and that's going to haunt them for a while, I think. It is good that Battlegrounds is pushing them to innovate and to be better, but there's something to be said about how solid of a game Battlegrounds is just right out the gate that is going to make it hard for any competitor, regardless of whether it's H1Z1 or any of the new Battle Royale iterations that are coming out, because now I think there's like another 3 or 4 that are supposed to be in early release within the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah, you'll probably have a couple free to play ones and stuff that are coming out just to capitalize on the skins. Yep.
But here's the thing: you really do have to look to PlayerUnknown here and consider his pedigree and his history, where he's coming from. That it is no mistake that the Battlegrounds had the degree of polish to the gameplay. And had some of these technical issues worked out really early on in its release, or in its development and in its release. It's not suffering from some of the drawbacks that H1Z1 has had, things like the hitboxes, because I think that PlayerUnknown learned from what H1Z1 suffered from, and was geared from the very beginning to responding to those criticisms and ensuring that Battlegrounds didn't suffer from them as well. It's very rare to see a game be as up to date with its or as frequent with its cadence of releases of new content and fixes. Now, that's not to say that Battlegrounds hasn't had issues. I mean, they've constantly had issues with the refresh rate and their servers just kind of suffering. But their responsiveness to fix those problems has generally been really high. Which you can't say about a lot of other developers or other games. And H1Z1 has really suffered in that arena. So I think that may answer the question to an extent if you're comparing the two. towards the games in general, though, Battleground. I remember the second game I played, I came in second. I didn't kill a single person. I just rode that circle hard, and I was sneaky like a little ninja. You know, I was brand new to the game, and I ended up coming in second without firing a single shot in the game. There's something to be said about a game that allows players to have such a tremendously diverse playing style still come up so high in the end game rankings. That's an open world flexibility that not a lot of games can say they have.
No, I fully agree. Like exactly. Like any other type of competitive game, you'll get eaten up easily. You just get tore up, not having any type of skill or any type of idea. Same thing. Like I had a similar thing when I played H1Z1. The first time I played, I didn't see a single soul. I didn't land by anyone. I didn't see anyone, and I got like 11th place my very first game. I was like, "This is what the fuck kind of game is this?" Like I couldn't believe it. And then I was like, "Oh, okay,
I get it.
I see what you do now." And like our good buddy Duncan Honut, he's a big streamer, and he plays a lot of H1Z1, and he's been getting really good at it. He's been getting a lot of followers from it, and he didn't get invited to the Invitational, but some of the buddies he plays with do. And they're making big money. They have, if you watch a game in Twitch right now, that's H1Z1, and the person is affiliated, so they have the 50 plus followers, and you know they accepted the terms and conditions. Below where it says, I don't know if this is true for PUBG, but I know on H1Z1, below the title of the stream, they actually have a list to buy crates directly to the game, and if you buy the crates by clicking on that page, that streamer will actually get a credit for that. And those crates are the invitational crates, the H1Z1 invitationals coming up, and it's like $5 for 2 crates. Twitch throws in 2 other crates for free, which are just Twitch skinned ones, and then that streamer will get like 50 cents or $1 or however much the profit is. Or you can even buy the game directly from that
from the stream,
and that the streamer will get credit for it because technically you're selling the game for them. So I'm gonna go check real quick if H1Z1
that's interesting. I had never noticed that. I wonder if that's in with all streamers. That's really interesting.
I don't think it's all streamers. I think because they have to be affiliated or partnered to be able to get that function, because they'll give you credit. Otherwise, it's just like an advertisement. I don't think PUBG has anything like that. Because do they have crates? I'm sorry, I'm not all that 100% familiar with it. They do have stuff like that too.
Yeah, absolutely they do.
Yeah, I don't see anything on a couple of these high-end PUBG streamers. But like I said, if you go to Duncan Hunter, he's actually streaming right now. No,
stay here, watch us.
I'm watching him. I'm watching everyone. Don't you worry about me. But he if you go on the bottom of his stream, like it literally can click. Oh, he stopped streaming. You can click on the crates. You can click on or the game. You can actually buy the game directly, and he'll get some credit for it. So that was kind of impressive that they're starting to take that kind of stance on it too. So I'm kind of hoping PUBG takes the same, because then the people that play the games can actually get a piece of that pot, which is pretty sick. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The people that play the games
by and
can
large,
actually get a piece of that pot, which is
PUBG has been pretty rewarding of streamers, unless you're Dr. Disrespect, in which case screw that guy. But it's really cool to see these really inventive ways of developers giving, I don't want to say giving back because that's not really the right term for it, but being creative in how they are sharing the love.
I would say rewarding. I wouldn't say giving back, but I think a reward. Like you're going to spend the time to play our game, and if you can get just one person to play it or spend money on something they don't need to spend money on, why not give you a cut of something? I mean, I think it's kind of cool.
It's a huge marketing tool, and it's good for them that they're
marketing tool.
Yeah, free. Yeah, and it's really good that they have venues and avenues of rewarding those guys that are doing so much free publicity on these games. So that's really cool. Yeah, I would love to see that happen with PUBG.
Yeah, I would love to see it because I think it'd be cool. Because right now, just before we kind of wrap things up, because I know we're getting 20 minutes over a run, but I know that all all the Twitch streamers that got invited to the H1Z1 Invitational have some sort of article or clothing in those crates. So people are going to want to buy more crates if they want to get their streamer that they're really, you know, they love watching. They want to support that guy. They're going to try to buy a crate that has his stuff in it, or trade it or buy it through Steam Marketplace, because it's all tied in together. So I really would love to see that happen more in games in general, not just these type of games, but I think being able to reward like huge major fans of your game that spend like almost like a full-time job playing your game every day, like 8 hours, 6 hours a day. I think that's really cool to show, like, you know what, we see you playing, we see you doing this, let's reward you a little bit. You may not be the best person, you may not be the best streamer, you may not have much of a following, but we see you playing this over and over again. We see the hours you're logging in. Let's hook it up. Like, let's get you taken care of, so you do not go to that other game. So
it's very interesting. I would say that streaming is still kind of in its infancy as a entertainment delivery system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which I think all online video is still. I think we're still young in that age of online video content. So it's really exciting to see new avenues for marketing to happen and for revenue sharing to happen that are so contrary to the traditional pay for commercial type models that you would see out of traditional television. So it's a brand new, well, I wouldn't say totally brand new, but it's a still very new and very quickly expanding market.
I would agree. Kurt?
I know, just to kind of hit on that point, it's the new YouTube. I follow a lot of channels on YouTube that deal with politics and kind of YouTube, what's going on with them and how they're changing, and how all of their like their ad revenue is drying up, and so they have to rely on Patreon and all these different things, and I think people are going to pull away from YouTube, and YouTube's going to have to struggle and figure out how to bring those content creators back, and this live form of entertainment, Twitch being one of them, and all these streams is pulling away from those content creators.
Well, yeah, between Twitch and going off of what you're saying, Kurt, between Twitch and the Mixer and stuff like that, you're gonna run into their fan supported. The money that's running Twitch, the money that's, well, Amazon money now, but the money that's running them before were the people that were subscribing to these people they love watching every day, and they send them $5 a month into the pockets of Twitch, and they give some of that chunk to the streamer. And that's the only reason they keep it in business. The only reason why YouTube is keeping it in business is because they're ads. But the problem is ads are going away because people are using more ad blockers these days. People don't care to do stuff like that. So like I said, like you mentioned, Patreon, a lot of these streamers or YouTubers are starting to go to Patreon and trying to get the exclusiveness to their main fans. But if YouTube adopted the pay by a fan, like if they allowed fans, like can you imagine how much more money they would make if someone would pay? What's that dude's name? I can't even think of his name. The big YouTuber that always, that homie. So imagine how many of his fans that watch it. I mean, it maybe be a 10% chunk of how many people actually watch his videos. That's still going to be more money than what they make on ads, because ad blockers are reigning and always blocking the YouTube ads. So if something like that kicks off, I think it's going to make a huge difference for every platform.
And we saw a lot of this happen around Admageddon or Adpocalypse. You know, when all these companies were pulling out of YouTube and pulling their commercials out. Because of content concerns and such. The guys that were impacted less were the guys that had diversified income streams. Rooster Teeth is a really good example of this. They have their own site, their own store, have been very much merch and subscription centered from their get-go, or at least shortly thereafter, when Red vs. Blue became really popular. They weren't as affected. YouTube is already putting in place alternative ways of supporting these different content creators, whether it's YouTube Red, which as a subscription service, I'm still battling the should I or shouldn't I
do the same thing. I'm like, gosh, I just want to pay $5 to get this over with, but I know that the $5 is just going to go to YouTube. It's not going to go to it's not going to go to the person like I'm watching. That's the other thing I'm catching on.
Right. There are also direct ways to contribute towards a content creator, but they're not putting as much focus on those. And I think that you probably hit on it right there, is that they're less focused on revenue for YouTube than they are for the content creator. I don't think that YouTube's going to go anywhere. I think it's interesting that they still are struggling, even though they have a significantly higher viewership across the board than Twitch does in their gaming arena. I find it interesting that they're still struggling to pull so many people away, even though they've geared YouTube towards gaming with YouTube Gaming. They're trying to be a direct competitor to it, but they're just not being successful with it.
I think because you're not getting the personal touch like you're getting with Twitch and Mixer and Hitbox or whatever you watch. I feel like because you watch this person over and over again, that you're more willing to do things for them. And YouTube hit that in stride massively a couple of years ago, where the YouTubers merch was going crazy. If they could sell a T-shirt for $20 and it just they would sell out. They were super popular, but now I don't think YouTube is as big anymore. It's still pulling massive numbers. It's still making Google a shit ton of money, but they're not. A lot of the money and the viewership of like you mentioned a couple times, right, our generation is all going to people we like watching and interacting with, and if I can support that person directly, I'd rather be able to support that person directly rather than giving YouTube red money and have them maybe get a couple pennies where there should have been an ad playing while I'm watching. So I don't know. We kind of got off topic.
It's Super Chat. That's what it is. It's YouTube's competitor for the donations. It's called Super Chat.
That's right. They did set that off, and I have never seen a Super Chat really yet. I haven't been on YouTube all that much on live streams because it's only for live streams, right? It's not commenting. You have to be live, I think, when you're on there.
Correct.
Okay. We'll have to look into that. But anything H1 versus PUBG? Anything else you want to bring up? I mean, are you excited for some of the new updates? Because there's a new map coming, right, for PUBG? Have I heard?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big deal.
At this point, I'm really excited for a new map. It's still funny because even though I play PUBG probably 3 or 4 times a week, actually lately it's been less, but I'd still say I should be really comfortable with the map. I'm still finding stuff that I've never seen before and areas in the map. I mean, it's really, really big, but I'm ready for something a little bit new. I'm ready for a little bit more variation of gameplay.
Yeah. That's funny.
For me, as far as updates coming for PUBG, is I'm looking for the map is still really new to me. I've only been playing for a few weeks, and only 1 or 2 times a week at that. But some of the things that are difficult in the game still that a lot of people have complained about is like vaulting walls or jumping over something that should be easily jumped over. You have to really get a run at it or something, and you've got to anticipate. And it's a little funky to get over, and they can
get
really
good, Normie.
Yeah, right.
God damn it, Kurt.
Good.
No, but seriously, that's a mechanic that needs to be added in, and I'm looking forward to those more than like a new map. But a new map, a new landscape would be killer. It'd be awesome because then I would be starting at the same point as everybody else. They wouldn't know just as much about the places I would, and that's a good thing.
Very true.
But then I still need to get good.
I'm really hopeful that we see more weapons come quickly that are not crate weapons. I want to see stuff. I want to see more 7.62 rifles out there alongside the AKM and the SKS. I would be happy to see some weapon spawns be dedicated to certain areas of the map. I would love to see another version of the AKM. You know, we've got 2 M16s. Let's see another AKM, and maybe this one's going to be a little bit heavier duty and you know, just a little bit different. just some more variation in the weapons. I think I'm running dry on my excitement for the current weapon set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fixed gun emplacements would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some things that they could do that probably aren't a high priority at this point. Certainly not a high priority against continuing to fix certain gameplay stability issues that they have.
Mhm.
But I'm just excited for more general weapons to be on the map that are not going to be dependent on the crate dropping. I think the Groza needs to be nerfed a little bit because that thing is just an absolute pit bull of a gun. But yeah, time will only tell. I mean, we're still talking about a game that's in early release. It's not the final release yet. So a lot could still change between now and then, and we could see a lot of games added to, or a lot of guns added to the game really quickly.
So
go ahead. And another thing with recent partnering with Microsoft, I'm expecting to get a little bit more staff on the underground side, the player unknown side. I think hopefully, fingers crossed, updates will come faster.
You think they need to come faster?
Well, not that they need to come faster, but that smaller things will be fixed quicker.
So when stuff breaks, you want to see it fixed faster.
Yeah,
faster.
Faster, more faster. Just having the manpower, and then
maybe just not manpower, but Microsoft money. They're gonna have that Microsoft money. That's what they want.
Marketing money, and then and hopefully that the Xbox One player base will bring up even more revenue for the game.
I want to address the chat really quickly. First off, Translucent Fox, shot off shotgun. Absolutely, they need a sawed off shotgun. But no, Myth Biggs, his comment was that with the Xbox updates will come faster, and I don't know if I would agree with that, because updates to that platform and to platforms in general are generally slower than PC variants. So I don't know if I would agree. It's possible, but I would be surprised if that was the case.
I would like to see if they're going to be cross play, because that'd be awesome if you can play versus everyone.
I don't think there's a chance in the world that they're going to be able to do cross play with Battleground specifically, because the mouse and keyboard you'd have to do so much auto aim on the Xbox to make that.
I agree. I get it. But let me run something by you before we shut it down and get the raffle going and stuff. Would you like to see? Because I thought about this the other day, and I think it maybe not as the main function, but maybe have a play mode where you could have. Maybe depending on your score, like maybe if you get a couple kills, kind of like the Call of Duty stuff where you can get, if you have a score streak or a kill streak or something to that effect, would you be able to unlock certain things during the match? Maybe like an eye in the sky, maybe instead of having, because I'm not sure what like the how am I explaining this, like the story or the background behind it, like why you're getting thrown out of the airplane and try to survive. But like, what if you had a second player? But
actually, I think there's some lore there.
Yeah, but instead of having the second person run through you and kill things, what if he was like supplying you? Like, what if he got so many certain kills and he was able to like pair drop some like items and stuff for you and have him be more of like a management type of thing? Maybe like maybe him be doing something to give you like an armor boost or something.
More role-based gameplay.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. But so you're still a team, but the team is more not like I got your back. It's more like, hey, I need you to kill this one last person. He may be in the house. Okay, we upgraded. You found me some parts. I can get infrared glasses or something. Like something to change the game. While you have the main guy, maybe the guy who can shoot really well or has really good accuracy on the mouse and keyboard, be on the ground, and then someone who's up top doing the other stuff like scouting or surveillance or dropping ammo and supply drops and stuff like that.
That's a really interesting point. So on the first, at its face, here's why I would say probably not, because what you're describing sounds very Battlefield-ish.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to kind of add. I want to be able to add or bring other people, other players in from other games. Like, so you already have the hardcore people, but say the people that play Call of Duty, the people that play Battlefield all the time. What if they didn't want that type of gameplay and they want to change it a little bit? Like, how would that be? Would that be something feasible? I guess. Yeah.
And shout out to the guys that are in the chat right now that are from our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting because with our particular group, I would say that a lot of us do take on roles in the group. I think some of us know that we're better shots with certain weapons.
Yeah.
Some of us have specific playing styles, and while the game in and of itself hasn't geared towards everybody taking on a different role, it's allowed everybody to kind of work together. We're constantly trading parts. We're constantly, the good teams, the squads that are making it to the end, and I'm happy to say that we generally do make it toward the end of most games.
Mm-hmm.
We're communicating a lot. We're trading a lot. People are doing different roles. Some people are scouting. Some people are sniping. So I think the game already has a certain level of freedom that anybody could play a different role that they feel most comfortable with without having another game element there help define that and say you are trying to supply this task. I wouldn't say that it's not possible or it couldn't be done well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you do that, though, you are introducing a dangerous element into the openness that the game provides, which I think is part of why it's so accessible to people.
No, yeah, I get that. No, I didn't mean it as adding it to the main game, but having a separate mode that maybe would allow supply drops. Like, yeah, not adding it to, like, I want to keep the core game the same, but I'm saying, like, oh, I want to play the the hardcore mode that everyone loves and plays, or I want to play the side mode where I can maybe get help or assistance, maybe for like rookies, maybe have a rookie type of level where if you do something good or you kill someone, like you have a chance to drop an ammo pack or a health pack or I mean, I'm just thinking, open it up to the people that aren't that good, or change it to someone with a different type of play style or play level to still want to be able to feel open in that game and not feel like they're going to drop off the airplane and get their ass shot up in like 10 seconds.
I totally see what you're saying now. And I think one of the cool things is that once the game is in full release, especially once custom servers and mods become available, and I'd be very surprised if mods don't become a part of the game at some point. I think you're going to see a lot of that. I'm really personally very excited for the custom servers because we're going to be able to see some really cool different playing or game types and such that are added in there. And that, I think I have a much better idea of what you're thinking. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, so I didn't mean that in the main game. I didn't mean that separately. Yeah, I think that'd be I think it'd be an interesting take where, like a scenario, or you can have, like maybe if someone dies or something, you can still spectate, and if someone does good enough, you can still drop them something. Or I mean, I don't know, maybe they turn the tide a little bit because I don't know. I just thought it'd kind of be a cool idea because that was what my wife was watching Hunger Games. And I forgot that dude's name, but he dropped the package in, for Katniss, whatever. Yeah, it was supposed to be sealed off. So
that would be kind of interesting.
So I think that'd be kind of cool if you were able to drop. I wouldn't say
but then you get like the Twitch snipers or whatever. They're kind of, people are getting banned over.
Yeah,
because people are watching where they're at and so on and so forth. And so that might be a little dangerous as far as breaking the game in that.
No, I definitely get it. It's just an idea I had. I'm not saying they're going to do it. I just wanted to bring it up and see what your guys' thoughts were.
I think that's what you're saying. And I think there's some really cool potential there. I think one of the things that I would love to see is how players that have been killed in a squad could have more to do while they're dead rather than just spectating.
Yeah.
There was a throw out here from Myth Biggs about binoculars, which I would love to see some additional items.
Fantastic.
I want binoculars though, the ones that start here and then they go up and they telescope up and come over, so that way in the first person I can periscope, so I can actually see over walls and such without just standing up like a moron.
A Fisher Price telescope.
You gotta get a set like it's the serial.
Yeah, you have to build it. You have to build it from pieces. They give you an IKEA set behind the couch, and you have to build that shit.
You have to sacrifice like so many red dots or a 4x to make it. I think the sky's kind of the limit with that sort of stuff. I obviously, the more you add to the game, you could overcomplicate it, and so I hope that the core game stays essentially what it is right now. And they could continue to add more game variants on there that introduce new things like that, whether it's the hardcore first person only, which is
What do they call it when you get like a reflection off of us?
That's what Translucent Fox just wrote, that maybe have a reflection from them as well as someone else using them. So that'd be kind of cool. Someone was sniping, you can see a little clip. That'd be kind of sick. Get the Eclipse glasses.
Yeah. Again, the cool thing is that PlayerUnknown has been pretty open with he's down for anything, and for where the player base wants to take the game. Obviously, he has a vision in mind. It's doing really well right now. But, I mean, man, if anybody's excelling at listening to their players, taking their feedback and applying it to the game in a measured, balanced approach, they're doing it, which, again, I think that really leads to their success. They're so tied to making their players happy.
Oh, I agree. And if you're watching, this idea came from us first on this podcast. So if this happens down the road, you know where that shit came from. It came from us.
Periscope, you heard it here first.
Let's wrap it up. We were getting well over time. We're about 40 minutes over where we wanted, but we had a good conversation. I want to thank everyone that followed. They hit a follow button. We got a few followers during this podcast alone. I want to thank you. I wasn't able to shout you out during the cast, but I want to appreciate that and thank that. We are going to bust out the giveaway for the last day of June. It's a PC code. Make sure you guys follow, then type in the !LDOJ, and that will get you into the giveaway. There's currently 6 entries, so that's going to be you got a really good odds of getting that game.
Good chance.
Other than that, I'll wait a couple minutes before we drop the close the thing.
It's awesome to see my two recently gaming families come together. It's really great to see the G&G guys show up in the channel and give us what's up, and it's awesome. Like, I think we've got a good community here.
The game seriously
lends towards it, and and I feel really lucky being parts of both GameOctane and G&G. So what's up, guys?
Yeah, no, seriously.
The real thing is that somebody needs to get the custom server access on Battlegrounds. Somebody, so we can do some custom.
Let me see if I can swing some. I can swing some GameOctane clout or something. I'll hit them up and see what we can do. Oh man, we're still getting followers. Thank you everyone who's following. The bot usually should announce that, but the problem is I think it's on raffle mode, and it's just saying F all the other commands, and it's just giving the raffle thing out. But seriously, 13 people. I think this is the most we've ever had in our room, which seems kind of shitty in the realm of Twitch. But I can't appreciate it enough. This is making me smile. People are actually chatting. I'm not just me talking to my bot when I'm streaming. I much appreciate that. It's awesome.
So lonely.
And then I want to hype a little bit of this last day of June game.
Yes, please.
Ryan got a huge exclusive sitting down with the Ovo Sonico guys, and he fell in love with the game, and he brought the hype to our little GameOctane family, and I actually sat down with him while he was playing our little preview beta that we got, and I'm excited to play the full version. It's a little bit of a tearjerker, and it's got a great story, and so whoever doesn't win it, you should buy it. It's fairly cheap.
It's like $16. If you want, below our stream, there's a Green Man Gaming affiliate link, and you can click on that and buy that crap for like $16.10 or something I paid for earlier. I would definitely check that game out.
It's a cool game. It's got great concept, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that story ends, because I was fully invested in it within only a couple of hours. And
you were just watching it. Did you even play it, or did you just watch it?
I was just watching. I didn't even touch the controller. I was just watching over Ryan's shoulders. And to be honest, we even had a problem with. It was more like the computer that we were playing on. We had a problem with the sound, and so the only way I was hearing what was going on in the game was taking Ryan's headphones away from him and putting it on and hearing like the music ambient sounds and all those different things. But just visually, it's a stunning game. And so I'm really looking forward to playing it myself.
Yeah, so again, before we go any further, I'm going to probably wrap this up, and I'm going to close it, and then we're going to do an outro, and we will see you guys later. But definitely check it out. Brandon put the link of Green Man Gaming, or Version did. I don't think it has our affiliate, but if you click on that, you can find it. Or I put the link to our review. Ryan wrote that review, posted it today. He actually got a shout out and a quote from the CEO of Ovo Sonico. So big props to that. If you watch the video that last day of June posted on Twitter, you actually will see GameOctane's Best of E3 logo like a couple seconds after the thing starts. So what's up to that? So I'm going to say thank you, everyone. I'm going to close the raffle. When I hit this button on the bot, it is going to stop the exception, and it's going to automatically pick a winner. So best of luck if you guys are here. These are all followers anyway, so I think this would be good. If I hit the button and it says not a follower, I am going to kick it again because I do not want anyone that's not following us to get this game. So we got 7 followers, so I'm going to hit the button right now.
Big money.
Who is it?
That means stop.
Closed. Myth Biggs wins.
Myth Biggs.
What's up, man? Man, Biggs got that game, dog. What up? So yeah, I'm gonna message you. You want, I don't know, let me know if you want me to message you on Twitch or you want me to throw you on Discord because you are in our Discord.
Hey, and Jason, really quick for the Green Nation guys that came
go
in
for
late. You want to tell them about the Call of Duty codes that you still have?
Oh, yes. For anyone that's still interested, Myth Biggs actually won, and our last one. So this is the second time he's won a game in like 2 weeks. Let me pull up my Twitter real quick, and I'll get you the link. We do have Call of Duty World War II beta codes. We have 10. We're gonna give them out tomorrow night, or probably about
PS4 and Xbox.
yeah, PS4 and Xbox One.
Codes.
Unfortunately, it's not PC, at least not yet. But we have a little giveaway going on. If you guys are already following us, us on Twitch, you already have an entry. So I'll get that going. Go ahead and explain your guys' guys playing games a little bit while I'm pulling this up. What you guys do so people can find you.
It's just the same sort of thing. We just like to play games, whether it's board games, video games, whatever. You know, we're down. We love to teach people how to play. Our big thing, we started getting into Let's Plays, and it was fun, but it's a really competitive market, especially on YouTube. And so we kind of went, you know what? We see a gap when it comes to teaching people how to play board games, and we love those too. And it was kind of a niche that we felt like we could fill, and we've got quite a few followers. I think we just broke like 1250 on YouTube, which is pretty good.
Hot damn.
Fantastic.
And we can't even add our followers up and get that.
Got them YouTube numbers.
Yeah, you got those YouTube numbers.
Got them YouTube dollars.
So, we're all about that. Our big thing is we love to take games that people are kind of nervous to get into because they seem a little bit too scary or too hard to learn, and break them down in ways that people can understand. And because really, I mean, games are just, especially board games, in my opinion, are memory engines. It's all about having a good time. And so the more people you can get into some of these really fun, more complex games, lends itself to a lot of fun. So that's what we're about. Now, and I would call out right now, I mean, we've got a lot of the Green Nation Gaming guys on the Twitch right now. I'd love to see if we get the GameOctane. I'm tired. Green Octane, GameOctane,
And from a different region,
and Green Nation guys to do a little bit of online, maybe some sort of either Battlegrounds or Overwatch. I think most of everybody has Overwatch, but it'd be fun to get the two together and then battle it out.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick up PUBG probably next paycheck. I'm gonna probably grab it and I'm gonna get all that. I had to save up for everybody's golf. I couldn't let that game go. I had to pick it up. I had to pick it up. Do you guys stream your games, right? Do you stream it on YouTube? Is that what you guys do?
We do. Yeah, we stream it through YouTube.
Because some of you got one of the guys playing games posted link in chat, so if someone wants to follow them, they can go for it. And I want to shoot thanks to Paradigm Gaming for auto hosting us right now. Thank you so much. But yeah, so we gave away the game. We talked about Arena battle royales. We talked about VR. We talked about golf, of course. Everybody's golf. We talked a bit about Absolver. Talked a little bit about Mario plus Rabbids and what companies would we like to see take Nintendo's characters and make them better.
Kirby.
Telltale Kirby, Fallout, Bethesda, Metroid. But yeah, that's it. That's all from us. Again, I am Jason Germino from GameOctane.com. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for following us. We're just an independent group trying to make a name for ourselves, and any little bit helps. So I can't thank anyone enough that's just sitting in chat or just watching us. That'd be amazing. Follow us. We have our Discord in the bottom. Our Twitter and Facebook and YouTube channels are linked. Make sure you follow these guys playing games. We'll have their links floating around too as well, so we can hang out later. We're definitely going to play something out later. Go ahead and Kurt, where can they find you online?
Well, I've kind of adopted Kurtaroni as my screen name.
Kurtaroni!
Pretty much everything. I need to change my my Xbox tag. My Microsoft gamer tag and get that, but I don't really want to pay them extra money so I can switch characters. So anyways, I'm Cal's First on Xbox One, Kurtaroni on Twitter, Steam. So, yeah.
On the twit, I'm Kurtaroni on the twit.
On a Twitch.
It's late. We're tired.
It is late, and it's Pacific Standard Time too.
Twit.
Whatever on the Twit.
Whatever twit.
The Twitters.
You can find me on Twitter, Logan_9th row. So it's Logan _9 ROW, or number 9 NTH ROW.
Jesus Christ.
And then if you see, yeah, I know, I really got to fix that. And then if you see Motzi or Motzi Mojo anywhere online, it's probably me or some fool who stole my name.
Bastard.
Probably me though.
All right, and again, I want to thank you, Logan, for hanging out with us tonight. We went way over what we expected, but we had a good time. Hopefully, we'll catch you again. Maybe we'll have a co-stream and a battle of wits or a debate between the both of us. I think that'd be fun to get both sides
Nation
going.
Gonna bring it.
And Kurt and I will bring. I don't know about Kurt. Kurt will be over there.
They're gonna kick our butt.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
They're gonna wipe the floor with us.
I don't give a shit. Hey, fuck, long as someone's wiping something, I don't give a damn. But thank you guys again. I'm gonna hit this outro. We're gonna be gone. So thank you guys so much. If you want to catch some of this podcast, we are gonna have it on YouTube, and I will have the video on demand floating around Twitch for the next couple of days. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and watching. It's been really fun tonight. And we'll catch you guys later. See ya.
Bye, everybody.